And we're back for lesson 2. We're going to talk about common mistakes when you're starting your detailing business. So a quick overview of what we're going to cover is, as far as common mistakes, is playing business, overanalyzing the market, focused on detailing, and taking too much time. I'm not going to be able to cover every single common mistake or mistake in general that's made when you're starting your business. So as I'm talking, kind of review this video, review this lesson, and just kind of see how you can play around with the mistakes where you can make it, probably think about it in different ways that'll fit your situation, because everyone's going to be in a different phase of their business. Everyone's going to have different obstacles or face different dilemmas. So see things in different ways that you can so it fits your situation, instead of trying to rely on me covering every single point that you may encounter. The first thing we're going to talk about is playing business. And a lot of times when people want to start their detailing business, or any business at that, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're starting, whether it be HVAC, plumbing, carpet cleaning, lawn mowing, it doesn't matter. A lot of times people will immediately go to making a logo, making a web design, coming up with some tagline and a slogan, buying t-shirts, and immediately creating social media accounts and a website. That's all nice and dandy. It's necessary for a business. But when you immediately, when the first thought of starting a business comes to your head, that's immediately what people jump to, because that's what they think they need to become a legitimate or look official business. And it's more of busy work than being productive, because you wanna, as I point out here, you're gonna wanna hire someone for a logo, which costs money and takes time. You're gonna spend hours on a website design, which takes money and time. You wanna create a tagline and slogan to make it sound catchy and unique, which takes time. You wanna buy t-shirts and hats with your logo on it, which take time and money. And you want to create a bunch of social media accounts that have your business name, which takes a lot of time. And the thing I want to point out here is that eventually, yes, this is all very important, but in the beginning phases, on the first 3 months, this is all irrelevant. This isn't what you're supposed to be focusing your time on. The number one thing you should be focusing on is getting money in your pocket, and that's it. What you do next is overanalyze the market. And what I mean by this is you'll literally go on Google and search all the competitors that are in your market. You want to see who's a car wash, who's a professional detailer, who's a high-end detailer, who's good at interior cleaning. You want to develop your own detailing menu, so you'll look at theirs, and then you want to see what kind of services and pricing you can develop for yourself. And you want to brainstorm, dozens of ways to differentiate yourself. And none of these are bad. Like I'm gonna keep on saying that none of these are wrong. None of these are bad. But in the beginning phases, you're just over analyzing what you're doing, and you're taking up more time and more money and more energy than what you should be really focusing on in the beginning phases, and that's getting money in your pocket and trying to get as much traction as you can immediately, quickly, efficiently, fastly. That's not a word, but that's the whole theme of this lesson, is that you can spend your time on dozens and dozens of things, but what you need to give yourself motivation, to get yourself traction, to get yourself going, to really show yourself that you can do it, is getting money in your pocket by offering services. Now this one is a real big topic, because obviously as a detailer you want to focus on detailing because you're starting a detailing business. But the real key thing is because you're starting a detailing business, you can no longer focus on being the best detailer there is. Now that's from my perspective, that's from my thinking. If you have a personal thought of your own that you want to still be the best detailer there, and you want to focus more on detailing than business, this is a side hobby for you, that's absolutely okay. I'm just speaking from an actual business perspective, where you want to have you want to have actual operations going on, and you don't want to be the sole person that does the detailing, that does the customer service, that does everything else. That's the perspective I'm coming from. But nonetheless, in the beginning phases, you don't want to focus just on detailing. You don't want to spend hours searching for the best tools and products. You don't need to watch how-to detail videos on YouTube to see what's the best technique or method to get certain results. You definitely don't need to test different techniques and tools to get results, because trust me, what you're doing right now is enough to get amazing results for your customers. And you don't need to get caught up in all the fine details on how to detail. So this is very technical based information that you're trying to learn, that you're trying to develop yourself in to become a better detailer. And of course, you need to deliver amazing results. Your customer needs to love what you're doing, because obviously you need to charge correctly, and you don't want to underprice yourself. So one of the ways you want to charge accordingly is by offering great services. But that comes to an extent. Once you get to a certain threshold, getting a 70% paint correction to an 85% paint correction is very trivial, and it's not going to make the biggest difference. You using a certain APC over the next to get a certain result for the interior cleaning is not a big deal. So I don't want you to focus on detailing because it's too short-term thinking. After you pass a level set, if there's such a scale, but after you pass level 7 as a detailer, you're pretty much as good as gonna get for customers and the expectations of results. Yes, there will be some customers or a smaller market that want exponential skills and are willing to pay you know to the teeth for a detailer. Let's say if they're going to take their car to Pebble Beach or something. But other than that, if they're not going to go to a serious car show or something like a super classic car, then you don't need to become the utmost absolute best detailer on this planet to charge good and to show good results, because you can still charge a premium even if you're not the most absolute best detailer. So you don't need to actually think to yourself that you need to dive in 10 hours a day, learn to become the best detailer there is in your area. Now let's talk about taking too much time. When you're creating your website, when you're creating a business plan, when you're just starting to charge prices, a lot of times you'll refer back to is you need to spend more time to either make it better, to get more experience, to make sure you're doing it right. And all of those are valid reasons, but again, it's trivial when you're first starting off. So, and for instance, your website, you won't publish it till your website is 95% complete, right? You want to have like the images, you want to have your logo, you want to have the tagline, the slogan, you want to have the text all done, you want to make sure every sentence has a period. You want to get all that done before you hit publish and you make it go live. But you don't want to take too much time because again, you're going for traction. You need to go from starting a business to getting money into your pocket. Not because you're greedy or because you're just after the money, but to give yourself motivation, inspiration, and to get traction immediately. The next one you spend a lot of time is making a detailed business plan. So like referring back to the last slide where you want to overanalyze the market, you see your competitors, what they're charging, the type of services they offer, the proximity they are between you and them, the proximity between them and the city, how many people you have in your city, all that good stuff. You want to make a detailed business plan. And me personally, I haven't made a detailed business plan, and I don't plan on doing a detailed business plan because the business is dynamically changing, and I have you don't need a detailed business plan to carry out a strategy for the next 6-12 months. Because at our level, we're local based services. We're not going to get, $4 million in venture funding. We're not building a tech startup. We're not going after these, big companies or big industries. This is a local based service. Not to, diminish any of the local services as detailers by any means. I'm just saying, in comparison to other industries and to other competitors of industries, we don't need to get too detailed in the beginning phase. If once you're in the $20,000 in revenue per month and you want to start expanding and opening up new shops or getting more vans, then yes, let's get a bit more complex and detailed. But in the beginning phases, it doesn't really need to get that detailed. And then 3, not charging proper price because lack of experience. So I'll run into this one a lot with people that are trying to start their business, where they think that to get more customers you can charge low, or to get more or just in general, just because they don't have the experience, whether it be with detailing or experience as a business, as far as how many years you've been in business, they think they can't charge money. That's a complete lie. If you wanted to charge premium price of $50 per hour within the first month of starting a business, you absolutely could if you have the right strategy and execution in place. The time is a myth. You don't need to wait 3 years, 5 years to start charging premium prices. And again, if you're not going for premium prices and you just want to charge above average pricing, that's absolutely fine too. But you don't need to wait years and years or months, 6 months, just to charge what you really want to charge. If you know your marketing and sales, if you have a proper strategy and you execute properly, you can charge whatever price you want from the get-go. And this is just to wrap it up that, common mistakes aren't so obvious, because if you haven't really read any business books, business blogs, you don't have any mentors, you don't have any business colleagues or anyone that that runs a business, you don't know what's going on, what's a common mistake and what isn't. My common mistakes are going to be much different from the next person's common mistakes from their experience, from what they've experienced, the knowledge that they have. So this is coming from me, obviously, because I've created this, but these are the mistakes that I see that aren't important when you're first starting off. You can make a valid reason and justify why those should be important and why those aren't mistakes. But for me personally, what I've seen in my experience and what I've gathered from different industries and mentors is that those things are not important in the beginning phases. Eventually they will. You do have to cover some of them briefly, but they're not these, most important factors that without them your business can operate. And that's the gist that I'm going off of. I'll see you in lesson 3.